Eat bold with Subway fiery footlong subs. So hot they'll burn the wimp right out of you. Try the new turkey jalapeno melt, a fiery twist on a legendary flavor. And the bold, delicious buffalo chicken, backed by popular demand. Subway. Eat fresh. The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
this is the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
It might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the Sports Guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The BS Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report. Week 1 in the books. Week 2 coming up, as always, on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. Our old buddy, Cousin Sal, what's happening?
What's going on, Billy?
Sal, our friend Hedge said we didn't have enough energy in Week 1. I'm going to ratchet up my energy toward Week 2.
I was just going to bring that up. I'm not lying when I said I did a couple lines before we. I did different lines than we're used to before the podcast.
Oh, good. We waited until Tuesday to do it this week because there was 2 Monday Night Football games last night. The first one, which was one of the most excruciating 3 hours I think I've ever spent. It was just a horrible football game. The other one was kind of entertaining. KC and San Diego in the rain. North Turner just drenched. He's got that North Turner face going. The Chiefs crowd, the fans were fantastic. They stayed in that game in a monsoon. They were really loud. I felt like they affected it. Nice job. Good job by the Chiefs there, Mike. I really like the Chiefs.
Boy, did they do a good job, dog. But they were on top of their game. Now, that really felt like football, right? Out of all that felt the most like football. And that, what a way to end the week.
Well, how many fan bases do you think gutted out in that monsoon?
Well, L.A. for one.
No. I mean, Chiefs. I think the Bears.
Buffalo, Green Bay, Kansas City.
The Bears? No. Cleveland, yeah.
You said
they
Chicago?
like the team. Yeah, maybe Chicago. I think it'd have to be a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
For the most part. I'm not sure any of the East Coast teams stick around for that. But,
I was proud of the East Coast viewers for gutting it out and staying up. I mean, what time did that game end? Like 1:15 on the East Coast? Later?
It was later. Yeah, it was like 1:30. You know, I got to say, though, not bad to have the Monday night doubleheader. I was thinking last night, that's something that I could get behind if we had an 18-game season, which I'm against. But I like having the 2 in a row.
Yeah, I don't mind it either. I like it better than the Thursday game. If they got rid of the Thursday game, I know they don't do the Thursday game every week anyway, but that's not too bad. Because Sunday's really crazy. Like when you're in a bar and you're scrambling to watch 17 screens at once, it really takes a while to get used to. It takes a couple weeks to before you're dizzy anymore. But
I think that's a good point about Thursday. If they moved that Thursday and made it early, late Monday night game, I think that would be pretty cool. But I do wonder how many people stayed up for some random AFC West game until 1:30 in the morning. The other interesting thing that happened last night was ESPN2 was showing that Nadal Djokovic match, or however you say his name, and if that match didn't end by 10:15, they would have had to move it to ESPN Classic. And I was tweeting last night, ESPN Classic, because once they said that, I was like, boy, it'd be funny if they were preempting something that was just really terrible. So I turn on and they're showing Celebrity Bowling from like 1975 with Gavin McLeod and Ed Asner.
Wow.
And that was about to get preempted for like the climactic 5th set of the 2010 Men's U.S. Open Finals. But fortunately, Nadal finished in 4, and we got to see Asner and McLeod. And then at 10:30, Pat Morita was doing some celebrity bowling. It was awesome. I don't know where they found these old things, but is that one of the worst moments in tennis history, that the 5th set was almost on ESPN Classic?
Yeah, it is a classic, so I mean it gets instant recognition, but
apparently.
I don't know. I mean, I can't really believe we're talking about tennis right now.
Yeah. Let's go back to football. You couldn't. Let's be honest. You couldn't have taped the podcast yesterday because you were still repairing the cuts on your hand and the broken things in your office from Sunday night's Cowboys game.
You know what? I'll take it a step further. I don't know how you tweet after a major Pats loss. I can't believe sitting in front of the computer and say, all right, I got to think of something funny and profound to say right now. Yeah, yesterday morning I was still devastated, and I just, as a Cowboys fan, I wish I could say that was top 5 losses of the last 10 years, but it's not. It's not. And these scenarios get more and more ridiculous every time. Like, if you were to see that on Friday Night Lights, you would say, oh, that's crazy. No one would throw a screen pass with 4 seconds left in the half and get stripped and run back for a touchdown. And then a holding from the guy who should have been cut in the preseason, his third of the game, ends the game. That's crazy. Now, let's fire that consultant. They don't know what they're doing at Friday Night Lights.
Right.
Too much after a while, isn't it?
And you knew Alex Barron was going to – it's not like this – it's a surprise that he's not good. You knew he was going to come into play. At the same time, I still blame the end of the first half. That play that's what killed them. You just gave away 7 points. The Redskins' offense didn't really do anything that whole game.
Yeah, the Redskins are getting a little too much credit in Mike Shanahan, because they couldn't move the ball at all, really.
No. Well, now, before we get to the lines, let's talk about that quickly. Teams that possibly got a little too much credit for a Week 1 performance. I think the Redskins lead the way. I wasn't impressed by the Ravens at all. I think that offense didn't show me anything.
The only thing is, I knew going into that game that for either of those teams, that wasn't going to be a game where they could flex their muscles offensively. Like, you got Revis, say what you will, if he was ready or he wasn't. It really does kind of shut down half the field for you, right? So It seemed like Flacco did a good job considering.
All right.
I kind of throw that game out the window.
You're throwing it out.
Huh?
You're throwing the game out the window. You literally just opened the window and threw it.
Something to the effect of, we're going to learn a lot about these two teams in Week 1. I'm going back on that now.
Were you sold on the Chiefs at all as being a sleeper? Or do you feel like that was just a fluky game? You had the rain, you had the McCluster kick return, you had a couple turnovers. Was that just a classic home dog, everybody bet on the other team, just one of those games?
Yeah, I think it looked a little fluky to me. Again, another offense. Castle, I don't know what his numbers ended up being, but it couldn't have been good. And, we talked about just like a punt return for a touchdown, how much it means.
Yeah.
Even if you get the crowd going. So I don't expect to see that again. The Chargers are used to falling behind 3 games in the AFC West and then coming on strong and winning it. But at least it was good to see. They showed some life, at least, the Chiefs.
The only thing I didn't like with the Chargers, and, we've seen Rivers do this before, but, I just feel like the QB's the leader. I know he gets fired. I know he gets upset, but at some point he just seemed like a DICK.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing for that guy and he's just selling you out and throwing his helmet around and acting like you just peed on him and you're blocking for him, I don't know. I would take that personally. Maybe I'm just spiteful.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It does seem like 10 seconds of the play clock almost after every incomplete pass is wasted on him yelling at the receiver that wasn't in the right spot or miscommunicated with him. So
it reminded me of Marino in the second half of his career when he just became, just impossible. And every time something bad happened, it was somebody else's fault. And I really felt like that was one of the reasons they never really did that well the second half of his career. It's just annoying to play with.
Well, San Diego's used to it with Ryan Leaf, so I guess everything's a step up.
Good point. Let's go to the Week 2 lines now. We'll hit a couple of these games because I looked and I made my mock picks before we do this. But I think there's going to be 3 or 4 games where Vegas overreacted to what happened in Week 1. So we're going to get to those. So give me the first one.
I think you're right. All right, first game is Arizona at Atlanta.
Yeah, see, Falcons get that kick in overtime. You get the kickoff in OT and you go 10 yards backwards. That's terrible. They got it to the 20. They went 10 yards backwards, punted it, and basically the Steelers are at midfield in overtime. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about them. I had them going in the playoffs, and now I'm reconsidering. But the Cards.
Well, let me just say something, by the way. 5 of the division winners lost in Week 1.
Yeah.
Right? 5 of the 2009 division winners, 5 of the 8, and 2 other playoff teams. I guess the Jets and who's the other wild card that would have lost? Philly, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, Philly.
7 of last year's playoff teams lost in Week 1. So. I don't know how much credence you give to it, but Atlanta should have looked better. What do you think the line is?
I have this little high because I watched that Cardinals game, and Derek Anderson was even worse than I thought he'd be. So I'm going to say Falcons by 6.
You said 6. All right, it's actually 6.5, and you get it. I said 3.5. I was way low, but I think you're right. I'm about to fully pull my support out of the Derek Anderson horse sometime probably in the first quarter of the Falcons game.
Well, how about me with Larry Fitzgerald in our West Coast auction draft for $36? I do not feel good about that at all. Because he was open. He was open and by like the third quarter, he started getting mad. You could just see it. He was like, really? Kurt Warner, he had to retire? Just had that look. He's carrying himself. But anyway.
Yeah, Derek Anderson looks like someone who needs to benefit from playing the Rams every week, and that's not the case. All right, Tampa at Carolina, there's no line. Don't even bother guessing because of Matt Moore's concussion, although I don't see how much of a difference that makes. But
he wasn't good in week 1. No line. If he plays, I would have said Panthers by 6.
Yeah, I said 7.
Somewhere in there.
Tampa goes 2-0. We're going to have to watch Berman with that catch from the Doug Williams pass. Please, don't do it.
You know,
I think we should start collecting these. I heard John Gruden last night say, in today's NFL, you've got to be able to throw the football to win.
He said that?
Oh, yeah. And in this game, I think that clearly illustrates it. So we got that, and we're going to learn a lot about these two teams. I think we should collect them and make like football fortune cookies out of them.
My only problem with the Jaws Gruden performance last night was Flacco, who was just horrendous that whole game, had one play where they chased him. They had the blitz. They overloaded the blitz on the left side, and he rolled out to his right and bought himself like 2 extra seconds and hit somebody in stride for 10 yards. And they reacted like this was the Montana to Clark catch. And I just think if you're a right-handed quarterback and you're rolling to your right and you're hitting a wide-open receiver who's 10 yards away, that's a throw any NFL quarterback should probably be able to make.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, they've been keeping it in for 7 months, so I can't get on them for being excited.
Well, then
like their energy, I'll say that.
Collinsworth and Michaels, too. That Cowboys-Redskins game was just awful. You can't pretend like I love Collinsworth. I've had him on the podcast. He's my favorite announcer. I actually thought he did a really good job in that game, but at one point he's like, the Redskins-Cowboys rivalry is back. I'm like, no, it's really not. This is a terrible football game. I couldn't have been less interested in it.
I agree. All right. Speaking of a terrible football game, KC at Cleveland.
Ooh, I struggled with this one. I'm going to say the Browns by 1.5.
Oh, that's exactly what I said, and we were off by 0.5 point. It's Browns by 2.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, this is a really short week for KC. I mean, they played the late Monday night game, so.
And you know,
it's going to be a mess.
Did you have the Browns Bucks on at the bar?
What's that?
Did you have the Browns?
Yeah, that was the only game we didn't have on.
I mean, the Browns were cruising in that game, and then Jake did the Jake move. He threw it right to a Bucks guy who ran it back, and all of a sudden momentum changed. Like, hey, Eric Mangini, if you're up 10 points against anybody, don't have Jake throw another pass. Just hand it off for 3 downs and punt. Don't let him beat you.
No, you're right. By the way, I don't know if you want to make it known where you watch the games this week. I actually think it makes you more of a football fan to admit it. But if you don't want to, I understand.
I'm going to do a little riff in my column about it, so I don't want to waste it here. I explained to you my reasons.
All right, let's just say no one should have a wedding on week 1 of football season. Don't do it. Plus, we're approaching 40. I don't know who's getting married anymore. So.
Well, I have younger friends. I had to make younger friends.
You have younger friends?
Yeah, I made younger friends. I went backwards.
That's stupid, too.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Philly at Detroit.
I got to say, I liked Vic when he came in. I really thought he looked dangerous. It looked like he got his mojo back. Didn't you feel?
Yeah, why not?
I felt like if that game was 1 quarter longer, they win. But unfortunately, NFL games are 4 quarters, not 5.
Now they're talking about him not even starting. So.
Well, he should start. Kevin Cobb looked terrible.
It's so bad when teams have to go through the motions. Like the coaching staff, everybody knows Vic is better, but we're going to see Cobb for 3 more weeks, and they'll be 1-3, right?
Well, their problem is they made such a big deal when they traded McNabb that they felt they had their guy, that now they're trapped with that opinion.
You're right. They're locked in for a little bit.
I would have loved the Lions in this game if Stafford was healthy, and I think the line's going to reflect it. I'm going to say Eagles by 2.5 at Detroit.
All right. I actually get this. I said Eagles by 5, and it's 4. So I get it by a 0.5 point.
It's a little too high.
It is high, but, I mean, what is it? It's Sean Hill at quarterback?
I know, but I don't think the Eagles are good. What's good about that team?
Detroit got screwed so bad last year. Such a dumb rule.
And it seems to change depending on what the situation is. I know they claim that it doesn't.
They always say, like, they can't look at it until March. Is anyone going to get screwed over if they talk this week, during the week, and change it? Like, I don't see how it's unfair to one team.
At the same time, dumb play by Calvin Johnson, who didn't take enough flack for stupidly flipping the ball right after he landed.
Right, and I think we're close to seeing a guy dropping a ball as part of a TD celebration, and they're going to call it incomplete. Like I think it's going to get to that point. Calvin Johnson may be our man again.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if you saw the second Welker touchdown. He crossed the plane of the goal. It didn't even seem like he did, but if he did, he crossed it for like
flipped it.
1/1000th of a second before he got tackled on the 2-yard line. They're like, touchdown! I mean, the Johnson thing felt like so much more of a touchdown. I got great energy right now. I really feel like a lot of energy.
All right. Pittsburgh at Tennessee.
I took a long look at this one. Now, I've been watching Shortcuts, on DirecTV, because I missed the early games on Sunday. And on DirecTV, they have the Shortcuts where they just show every play one after another, and it's over in like 27 minutes.
Oh, how was that? 27 minutes, you said?
Yeah, it's just every play. It's great. You kind of catch up on the games you missed. So I watched the Titans-Raiders game, and the Titans, the score was almost deceiving. Like, they absolutely annihilated them. I thought they looked great. I mean, now I'm starting to wonder. I had who did I have? I had the Cincy making the playoffs, and I think I had the wrong team. I think it's Tennessee. I'm going to say their favorite.
The Steelers winning that division? I forget.
I had the Steelers, but I had 2 playoff teams coming out of the AFC North, and I think the Titans could have a chance. It can be the Titans or the Texans, but I have Titans by 5.
Yeah, you get that. I said 3.5, but you get it exactly. It is 5.
It's a fair line because their defense looked really good, and the Johnson
defense is tough, and Pittsburgh has 2 tackles missing now, which is rough. Although it's good news because one of them isn't going to hold on the game-winning touchdown pass with no freaking time left. Sorry, I'm still a little bitter.
The Football Outsider guys, they have a whole thing about the dominant teams for each season. If you're going to be one of the 5 or 6 best teams, you have to blow out like 3 or 4 teams per season. That's a sign of the dominance. So I like the fact that the Titans beat the hell out of the Raiders. I think if you're a really good team, you have to beat up on a team that's not as good, and it turns out the Raiders aren't good again. So.
Yeah. You know what the problem is, and I guess the Chiefs could prove us wrong a little, but you look at the AFC West and you're like, all right, San Diego was going to win the division. Like, I got to pick somebody else just to look cool. The Raiders, they can maybe get it together, the Chiefs, but I think it's going to be the Chargers again.
I agree, but it might be 8-8 or 9-7 taking it.
Yeah. Miami at Minnesota.
I had a lot of trouble with this one because I personally feel like the line should be Vikings by 3, but I think Vegas is going to give Minnesota too much credit, and I'm going to bump it 3 points and say Vikes by 6.
I guess we push on that because I had 5 and it's 5.5.
All right, that line should be 3. I think those teams are even, and home field you get 3 points. It's a 3-point game.
Yeah, I think they added a couple points to good teams who were 0-1.
Oh, maybe like they got to get fired up.
Yeah, like I don't think Atlanta should be 6.5. I think it could be a little lower, and you'll see it. You'll see a little later with more picks. But
from what I saw of Minnesota on Thursday night, Favre did not look crisp at all.
No.
They don't really have any receivers. I mean, he was going to Shenko so frequently that they just started. They're basically, all right, we got to just take out Shenko, make him throw to like Greg Lewis. It just didn't seem like he had that receiver to go to.
Yeah. That's another. I'll just give him a little credit. I don't like the guy, but that's another defense that's hard to gauge. I mean, they just keep coming at you, and they seem
True.
What's his, like 2 out of the 4 downs. So
I didn't think he played well, though.
3. Baltimore, Cincinnati.
You know, I watched the whole Cincy Pats game, and the Bengals were really bad, and they had no pass rush. Palmer was terrible. You know, the Pats dropped, I think, 3 interceptions other than the ones they got. He was really bad, and they got a lot of garbage yards after the game over. I thought they were going to be good, and I just think I'm wrong. So I'm going to say Ravens by 2.5.
Wow. All right, you get that. And I said the Bengals by 2. I'm stupid. The Ravens are just better, but it's plus 1.5. The Ravens actually are favored by 1.5.
That's fair. Since he showed nothing, now you never want to overreact to week 1, but I didn't see anything that made me think they were going to make the playoffs in that game. And especially I was shocked by how much time Brady had. They never, ever put him in any sort of danger at any point in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
by the way, T.O. and Ocho Cinco in the locker room, before the Hail Mary, before the half ended, at what point in the season did we find out they were playing, like, Wii bowling or something, right? It's just a matter of time, right?
When are they going to get mad? Because let me tell you something. If Palmer plays as badly the whole season as he did in week 1, those guys are going to turn on him by, like, week 6.
I'm waiting for them to turn on each other. That's what's going to be great. But,
yeah. Oh, that'd be fun.
It'll be funny because the brother will defend Carson, right? And then it would be great if there's kind of a tag team effect to it.
I don't know if Carson's defensible anymore. He's got to start playing better. Hey, classic example of how dumb fantasy is that he actually had a good fantasy game because he was awful in that game.
Yeah, you're right. And he's got that good tight end now, a good rookie.
Yeah, the guy was good.
All right, Chicago at Dallas. Team.
I think they bumped this a little higher than it should be because of your own one theory.
Right.
So I'm going to say Cowboys by 7.
All right, I actually hit this exact. It's 8.5. And
it's a little high.
Good riddance, Wade Phillips, if they lose this one, because it does not get any easier after this.
Do you think the Bears can throw on you or no?
I watched a lot of that Bears-Lions game, and I don't think so. I think Cutler's going to be a little bit of a mess back there. Like this is I think we can get to him with our pass rush. One of the few teams. But
if you're a playoff team, you need to win this game by 10 or more.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's funny. Like my kids must think I'm nuts. Like a massive celebration with that touchdown, and then 3 seconds later, swearing.
No!
They're like, what kind of, that's not a normal human reaction I see in school or anywhere. So I had a lot of explaining to do. Week 1. All right, Buffalo at Green Bay.
Oof. I spent a long time thinking whether this was going to go over 2 touchdowns because you could make a case that it should, but I don't remember a week 2 line being over like 14, so I said Pack by 13.
Yeah, I said 13 also, and it's 13.5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, week 2 you never go over 14 points usually, and I'll be honest, that line is probably about 3-4 points too low.
Too low, right?
Yeah, that has 38-10 written all over it, and also
they should be 2 scores up on them by halftime, I think.
Yeah, and that Football Outsiders theory, like, if the Pack are going to go 12-4, 13-3, which we all seem to feel like they have it in them, these are the type of games that you have to win by 20, 25 points.
Right. All right, so after the early games, where we count ties as that's both winning. I know it's confusing in some readers.
It's your weird theory, yeah.
So it's 6-5. You have the lead going into the late afternoon games.
Exciting.
It's St. Louis at Oakland.
I had a lot of trouble with this one. I mean, these teams are just terrible. I said Raiders by 4.
You get it exactly. I said Raiders by 3. The Raiders are doing exactly what they always do. They're going to lull you into thinking they suck, and then you're going to bet a lot of money against them one week, and like Bruce Grodkowski's going to come in and light it up against you.
I will say McFadden's stats looked a little better than he actually was in that game. Because they had like one of those end-of-the-half garbage draw plays from their own 10, and he ran for like 20 yards or something. But he definitely padded the stats a little.
Yeah, and if
Not
you're a
sold on
football
it.
fan with DirecTV living in L.A., this is why you want to kill yourself. This is the game you're going to get late afternoon.
One more thing in the Raiders. Jason Campbell was really, really bad in that game. And I don't know whether the Titans just had the 85 Bears pass rush going, but fumbled snaps and hurried and was holding the ball too long and just did everything you'd never want your quarterback to do in that game.
Yeah, he was Jamarcus-esque. Every
was.
time I looked up, they had the ball and they were just about to turn it over or go out on downs. So.
He was really bad.
Seattle at Denver.
Now, what'd you make of that Seattle-San Fran game? Oh, wait, I'll give you my line first, and then we'll talk about them. I had I vacillated between 3 and 3.5 for about 10 minutes. I'm going to say Broncos by 3.5.
Oh, come on. I said 3.5 also, and it is 3.5.
It's a fair line.
I think Seattle. I think the Niners were worse than Seattle was good there. And I can't believe how bad the Niners were.
Well, so it was 6-0, and both times they were like inside the 7-yard line or something. I mean, they should have just pounded in at least once, and didn't. And as soon as it was 6-0 and they had wasted all those points, you could just tell that the momentum was going to shift. I was sitting there waiting for it. At the same time, Seattle was not 20 points better or whatever it ended up being in that game. I didn't feel like.
Right.
They got a lot of
Seattle
momentum.
wins at Denver. I know Denver's not great, but if that's a good road win if Seattle wins, and I'll take my hat off to Carroll until they're ineligible to make the playoffs.
If we're targeting sleepers, because there's two sleepers, like two kinds of sleepers, you know, just the normal sleeper that was bad last year and good this year, and then there's the, oh my God, where the hell did that team come from sleeper? Like Seattle, if they win this game, I think is at least in range for that. Because Hasselbeck is still a good QB as long as you keep on the field.
And that's all. I mean, just like Kansas City yesterday, that's a good place to play. That's tough to go in and win, and especially when you're behind. It's tough to win there.
Alex Smith was horrendous, though.
Oh, what are they going to do? I mean, it seems like there are 7 quarterbacks who either by injury or because of their horrible play or in trouble for being replaced. Smith, Cobb, Stafford, Matt Moore, Derek Anderson. I think I'm missing a couple, but doesn't look good. Jacksonville at San Diego.
I can't believe I'm going with another Vegas. I'm not. I have 5.5 written down, but I'm going to bump it to Chargers by 6.
All right. Who gets this? All right, I get this. I said 9 because I thought they would bump it up big time for the one loss, the teams that lost that are good, but it's 8, so I still get it.
Wow, that's high. I thought the Jags played pretty well in Week 1.
Yeah.
You think that's high?
Line up there high.
I mean, what do you think about that line?
No, I think it's exactly what's going on. They're adding 2 points to it. The Cowboys shouldn't be 8.5 over Chicago the way they played. San Diego shouldn't be 8 over Jacksonville.
Am I crazy thinking the Jags could win that game outright?
I don't know.
I mean, they played on late Monday night. Huh?
They didn't impress me too much against Denver.
I mean, they're not bad. I mean, there's bad teams. I don't think they're a bad team. I think they're mediocre.
We'll
and if Mojo got...
Sure, in today's NFL, you've got to be able to throw the football to win.
Were you impressed by Ryan Matthews last night? Because I was not.
No, I wasn't either, and I have him in like 6 of my 9 fantasy football leagues. So
okay.
That's not good. But and then they give the ball to this guy Tolbert, who I hadn't seen before, and he looks like Darren Sproles from 3 years ago. So it's like, oh, great, now everyone's going to get the ball.
All right, we're tied.
What's that?
We're tied, and you're about to pass me because I'm going to...
Here we go.
I'm going to get the Pats... I'm going to get it so wrong. I just don't see after what happened in Week 1, and I know you got to factor in the Week 1 overreaction, all that stuff, but how anybody could watch the Pats and then the Jets and say that the Pats should be favored in this game. And I don't care if I'm wrong. I think the Pats can throw the ball with anybody. I'm such a homer. I'm on the bandwagon. I really think this team's destined for good things. Pats by 1.
Wow. All right, you get it. It's Pats by 1.5.
Yeah!
I said Jets by 2 because I figure you're going to play the sissy homer game where you're like, oh, well, this is it for the Pats. Jets are better, and they're going to be favored by 4. But, wow, you're really on top of your team this year.
I like this Pats team. This is my favorite team in 3 years that we've had. Yeah, I like the young guys. They can throw the ball. They have an identity this year. You can see it.
And you're not worried about this Moss thing? Like, we all knew this was going to happen, didn't we?
No, he's one of the leaders of the team.
One of the leaders. He's notorious for taking off plays and not, isn't he? Am I crazy?
He's one of those guys that if it's not going well, he'll check out. He's a front runner. I've written about this. If it's going well, he will not check out. He will actually raise his game. So it all depends on what his situation is.
Just think it's a little weird in the contract. Like Bob Kraft had to know. You have to treat these guys like children. If you go on a business trip, you have to bring something back for Tom Brady and Randy Moss. And I knew signing Brady to this big contract was going to cause a problem a little bit.
It's true. When we were in New York, we were at FAO Schwartz, and you can make your own Muppet.
Mm-hmm.
So my son loves vampires, and so we made him a vampire Muppet, and then we realized that our daughter would be catatonic for like 4 days if we didn't bring her back a Muppet. But we knew she wouldn't use it or play with it. She'd play it for 2 minutes and then be gone. But we had to give her the Muppet.
You had to do it. Yeah.
So we gave her the cheerleader Muppet, which she played for 2 minutes, and now, it's just going to get annihilated by the dogs. But it's the same thing as the Brady Moss thing.
That's it. Now your daughter's gonna run her routes right, and she's not gonna give any lip to your son.
I will say one thing though. Watching that game, Moss played really hard in that game, and I don't think any Patriot fan who actually watched that game would have a problem with Moss being upset after. Just whatever, he's venting, but as long as he's playing hard, I'm fine.
Yeah, he looked frustrated. He was double covered a lot.
Pats win that game. That's my lock of the week.
Let me ask you this: the Jets looked, and the Cowboys, and all these teams look so way out of shape. The teams look more out of shape than normal to you, like with these sloppy penalties, and it seems like only Ed Hockley is working out in the off season. Everyone's dogging it in the second quarter.
But here's what I don't get: I don't understand. Like you watch that Thursday night game, and all they're talking about, these guys aren't sharp. They're not blah blah blah. And then you watch like Sunday night game, same thing. Monday, the Jets are then why have 4 preseason games? We've played 4 preseason games, and now these guys are they got to work in their timing. What the hell did they just do for the last 7 weeks?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I think. With that, Alex Barron is playing right tackle for the Cowboys. What is the preseason for? If you've seen enough that this guy needs to be starting.
I mean, I don't think we need more games, as anybody who watched the Packers-Eagles game can attest, as guys were just getting carried off like rollerball. But I just think 2 exhibition games, 16-game season, but give everybody 2 bye weeks instead of 1 to stretch it out, and we're good.
That's fine. But you know what? I don't know if we talked about this, but they really need to consult with the gamblers. That's who they should talk to, because a lot of guys are out of money by the early Thanksgiving game. And that's the Detroit game. That's a gimme. So I don't know. Right. You add 2 games to the schedule. There are going to be some more houses upside down, I think.
It could affect the economy.
Yeah. Houston at Washington.
All right, I have a 1-game lead right now.
I think you have 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. I got you 9-7.
Oh, beautiful. I got a 2-game lead. I can clinch it here then.
Yeah.
There's going to be some Houston overreaction, but I think they are a very good home team. I'm not sold at all at them on the road. I think people are a little aware of the Redskins, that maybe they smoke a mirrors last week. I'm going to say Redskins by 1.5.
Oh, all right. Well, I get this one. I said Houston by 1.5, and it's Houston by 3.
Ooh, that was an overreaction.
Yeah.
Listen. It's not easy to go into Washington if that crowd's going.
The Redskins are not good, I'm telling you. By the way, I think the Cowboys should get a little bit of a break here. Is there a worse scenario than going into Washington, game 1 on a Sunday night? The team already hates you, and you have Mike Shanahan. You got a new quarterback. I kind of think the Cowboys should get the Colts in Week 17 as a trade-off. When they're sitting everybody.
I like that idea.
But I don't think they're as good as everyone.
You love the Texans, then? You're telling us.
I do like the Texans. I'm not, I don't think Arian Foster's going to push everyone around like he did, but I think they're just better.
If you're in on the Texans, then that means you're picking them for the playoffs, because if they go Colts at home Week 1 win, and then at Washington Week 2 win, then they're probably headed for 10 or 11 wins at least.
I guess so. I don't mean to, believe me, but it does seem to be shaping up that way.
I still like the Redskins. I don't know.
All right.
I like them. I like these home dogs. The home dogs came through in week 1 for the most part.
Sunday night, Giants at Indy. Brothers do battle.
What do we make of that Colts performance before? I mean, I already have the line written down. I'm going to go with what I went.
I don't like that their defensive line got pushed around like it did.
I mean, it went beyond pushed around. There were like gaping holes.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I mean. Like, I don't know if these teams are out of shape or what's going on. I mean, the Colts, it can't be that bad for them defensively. I mean, we didn't hear about anything bad happening to their line, right?
This is a tough one for me because I think there's a bad matchup for them, and I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the Giants' run. But we've learned not to go against Manning at night. I mean, it's just one of the rules.
Right.
I'm going to say,
especially after a loss.
I'm going to say Colts by 3.5.
Oh, wow. I said 6.5, and it's 5.5. So we're tied going into the last game here.
Wow, I really botched that one.
This is interesting.
So it's 5.5, huh?
Yeah. Well, they added a couple points. I mean, this is another really good team. This would be a third loss in a row if you include the Super Bowl. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And I hope Eli realizes it's better for the family that the Colts win this, that they're in the thick of things.
Now,
you should thank it.
I really like the Giants in that game. I think
really?
The Giants are good, yeah. I think they can run and throw. I like Eli in the dome, or if it's nice weather, they leave it open, but same thing.
Well, let me just say, I would never, ever endorse a 3-team teaser, but it seems like the Chargers, Cowboys, and Colts will not go 0-2, and you should probably bet your first child and second mortgage on that.
That's a loss.
All right, I'll throw Green Bay on there. All right, so this is it. New Orleans at San Francisco. Exciting. Whoever picks the right wins.
Oh, God, I hope I don't choke.
I don't know. Am I giving you something? I'm going to give you something here. I was off by... No, I'm not even going to tell you this. Cause it might help you too much.
Man, I'm so flustered by the other lines.
Try not to think about it.
I'm going to say Saints by 6.
You mother... I said 6.5, and it's Saints by 5.
A big win for Team Simmons. Saints by 5. Hey, add this up quickly. How many games were in the Vegas zone this week? There's at least 5.
What's the Vegas zone? 4 to 5?
4.5, 5, or 5.5.
Okay. Pitt at Tennessee. Miami at Minnesota. And Giants at Indy, and New Orleans at San Fran. You know, there's a few 4s in there too. It's a couple of 4s.
All right, so who do we like as our upset pick? We should have nailed the upset pick last week. We actually hit the points. We just didn't win the money line. But Calvin Johnson kept us from winning our week 1
upset. Yeah, that
upset.
was ridiculous. Saved a lot of suicide pulls there. I'm going to say the Steelers.
I'm afraid of that.
Forget that.
How about that? Let's go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, all right. Let's go with Dolphins. I was trading between the two, but
how many points are they getting?
That might not be a bad matchup for them. 5.5.
And they're at least plus 200 money line, right?
Yeah, that'll be right around 200.
And who's our lock of the week? We lost on the Colts last week.
Well, probably Green Bay. I mean, let's not overthink it. They're going to put 38 points, right?
Perfect. Anything to plug?
Jimmy Kimmel Live. Dr. Phil is on this week. Brandon Flowers, the great Ben Affleck, and Usher. So
beautiful.
Check it all out. By the way, we're going to have the fans decide what our contest is going to be this year. Have you had any good emails?
Oh yeah. Send us some tweets. SportsGuy33 or the Cousin Sal. Those are our Twitter handles. Send us some tweets if you have any ideas.
Now that it's tied.
Yeah, it's
getting down to the nitty gritty. It's already week 3 next week.
Cousin Sal, talk to you next week. I'll see you this weekend.
Great job, Ellie.
Good job. Good energy. All right, quickly, we're going to call our old pal JackO, who's at work as always, diehard Yankee fan. Haven't talked to him in a while. Just checking in. Just to check in, make sure he's okay.
Complex Litigation, this is John.
Johnny.
What's up, Willie?
I can't even give you the Johnny, since my Red Sox season ended about 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. Let's not count our chickens just yet, the way the Yanks are playing. I don't know.
Stop it.
I'm telling you, this could be a catastrophe larger than 2004.
Oh, well, listen, if you're going to play that route, then I'm going to go, oh, Johnny.
That's the way I feel. That's better.
All right, well, run us through your emotions the past 2 weeks.
Well, I was a big fan of their 7-game winning streak. Or maybe it was 8-game winning streak. Their winning streak made me very happy, and I said, oh, here we go. We're rolling into October. Things are coming into shape here. We have Ivan Supernova emerging into the rotation. Pettit's coming back. All is right with the world. And now we've headed into an epic slide. It's kind of interesting this year in baseball. Anytime teams go on a winning streak, it's been followed by a losing streak. The Padres did it. The Braves did it. I think there's been a couple other teams. The White Sox, maybe.
Just for the record, the Red Sox are 7 games back with 14 to play.
But they play the Yankees 6 times.
Come on.
Haven't won in 4 days.
Don't make me start watching again. I can't go back.
If they didn't play each other 6 times, the Yankees have the toughest schedule left. I was looking at their schedule today. They have 2 more in Tampa. Then they have a day off, and they go to Baltimore for 3. The resurgent Buck Showalter-led Orioles, who's like a modern-day Earl Weaver, turned that team around. The same Orioles who took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees last week. Then they come home for 4 potentially disastrous games against Tampa Bay, 3 against Boston. Then they're at Toronto, who's owned the Yankees this year, and then they finish at Boston.
All right, but Johnny, making up 7 games and 7 out of 14 would. I mean, not even the 65 Phillies did that.
I know.
Or 64 Phillies.
I'm not. Look, am I saying I think it's going to happen? No. But I also didn't think that I also thought a 3 games to nothing lead in 2004 was safe. So really, anything is possible at this point. But I mean, the Yanks are not playing well. There's no 2 ways about it. Jeter's fallen off the earth. Pains me to say that. Swisher and Gardner are beaten up now. I mean, Pettit's coming back. That helps. But their offense has been anemic. And their pitching, I mean, they have Sabathia and pray for 4 days of rain at this point.
Well, and A-Rod's hurt, right?
Yeah, and
he's just hurting, I should say. Yeah,
he's dinged up, and I mean, I'm just not feeling well lately about the Yanks.
Johnny, you sound this is heart wrenching. I hate to see you like this.
Yeah, I know.
No, I don't.
Because you couldn't find my number during the winning streak.
I've not watched the Red Sox, although I watched a little of the Sunday night, but since the now famous Tampa Bay Saturday night loss when Clay Buchholz tried to pick off Carlos Pena, who was like a foot from the bag.
Yes.
And is one of the slower guys in the league.
Right.
And then J.D. Drew caught a foul ball that allowed him to score.
Yes.
And then Francona brought Bart out or did not bring Bart out for the 8th.
Right.
And somewhere along that sequence of events, I realized I was watching the last meaningful Red Sox game of the season. Now you're telling me that I have to get sucked back in again.
I'm not pulling you back in like The Godfather Part 3 here, but just when you thought you were out, you're pulled back in. But I'm just telling you, the Yanks are not playing well. No one's really running away with this division. I mean, the last 10 games, the Yanks are 3-7, and I think the Rays and the Red Sox are both 4-6. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, odds are the Rays and the Yankees are going to make the playoffs in some combination, one of them winning the East and somebody winning the wild card. But I can't say I feel great about the way the Yankees are playing right now, obviously. Let's hope it's a scenario like 2000 where they limped into the postseason and then still won the World Series.
Let's hope not. Now, where do you fall in this whole Jeter thing? I mean, people say, can he just have a bad year, or is this really it?
I don't know. The thing is, he's not getting any younger, and when you look back, he's played 14 years, and he's played, I don't know what his average number of games is per year, but he hasn't really been out in a long time for any sustained period of time. There was the injury he got sliding into third base against the Blue Jays several years ago, where he was out for a few games to start the year, a significant portion, but I mean, he's never missed like half a season or anything. So, and then all the postseason games, a lot of miles on those treads.
So you're saying like a Cal Ripken wear and tear scenario, where
yeah,
Cal Ripken actually had a similar one last really good offensive year before he fell off a cliff, kind of like Jeter last year.
Yeah, and that's probably the player that he's most often compared to, I think, in a lot of different ways. So it could be the start of the slide. I mean, I'm not saying that they should get rid of him and they should give him whatever he wants in terms of a 4-year contract, because it's just money to the Yankees. What do they care if they're eating $75 million? He's owed it for everything. He's a Yankee. He's got to retire as a Yankee, so he's owed all that. But I mean, it's been a troubling year for him. It has not been good. And a lot of crucial situations, he hasn't come through in ways that he would have. It's hurtful. But, guys get old. It happens.
What has been the fan reaction to Yankee Stadium as he struggles in big moments?
Well, I don't think you're ever really going to boo Jeter. I mean, that's just blasphemy.
So it's just awkward silence?
A little awkward silence, a little nervousness. Pensive, I'd say. Pensive.
Like a bad best man speech kind of silence?
Yeah, a little awkward. You want it to be better. You feel bad for him. You wanted to root for him. Yeah, you wanted to root for him. Exactly. It's a good analogy. The bad best man speech.
But they have a contract decision coming up with him.
They do. He is a free agent after this year.
And what happens there?
Well, word on the street is that he wants. I mean, there was some report. I think it was in the Daily News a few weeks ago that he wanted A-Rod-like money, and numbers like 4 years, $100 million were thrown around.
Oh, no.
As he continues his quest for 3,000 hits.
Actually, I should say, oh, yes.
I mean, what's the difference, though? I mean, it's not like the Yankees have any kind of a budget. I mean, allegedly they do with Hal now, allegedly, controlling the purse strings and complaining about money. But in reality, I mean, what do they care if they have to eat $25 or $50 million for the last 2 or 3 years of that contract?
They probably don't.
Yeah, it's just money. What do they? It's not going to limit them from signing, Cliff Lee or Carl Crawford if that's what they want to do.
Well, the bigger issue isn't whether he still belongs at shortstop.
Well, that is the big issue. That's the huge issue. That's the huge elephant in the room. I mean, the thing is, they probably will never move him from shortstop. They'll let him play there as long as he wants, unless it just becomes outright embarrassing. He's falling down or something. But I mean, he'll make the call on when to move to shortstop. And the thing is, they can't move him to first base because they have to share there. So the only place they're going to move him is to DH. They're not going to make him learn a new position like play in the outfield or something, a la Robin Yount.
They can't move him to third base because they already have one washed up shortstop there.
That's exactly.
Maybe they could just put him next to him.
Like in softball when you have like 4 outfielders or something, you could have 2 third basemen.
And they can't move him to second base, right? There's too much quickness at that position.
Plus they have the best second baseman in baseball, Robinson Cano, there. So
I was thinking they could move
Cano to short.
I don't know. Could they do that?
What?
I mean, I know it's totally unconventional and probably improbable, but why couldn't they just flip him?
Put Jeter at second and Cano at short?
Yeah.
I don't think they would do that to Jeter at this point, make him learn a new position. And plus, it's a lot of wear and tear turning the double play there.
Yeah. What about
36?
Right field?
We have fan favorite Nick Swisher out there. That's just that he's never played outfield before. I mean, maybe in the minors or high school or something, but he's never played it in the majors.
Oh, Johnny.
So to make him do that, I mean, and you're not going to make him the DH because, one of the reasons they didn't re-sign Johnny Damon and Matsui allegedly was because they wanted to keep the DH open as a potential landing spot for these guys to get, periodic rests. And Posada, I mean, how many more years can he catch? Team's getting old, getting older. Could be the last run.
Oh, stop it!
It's like the big 3 in Boston. I mean, the last run with the big 4.
You have $300 million to spend every year. It's not going to be. There will never be a last run.
No, I mean the last run for the core 4, though.
The core 4? Is that your new nickname for them?
No, that's what that's not mine. That's what they're called. Sure.
Who calls them that?
All over the place. The core 4, all over the
core 4.
Sure. You can actually buy things that say the core 4. Jeter, Posada, Rivera, and Pettit. The core 4.
Core 4. How many guys in the core 4 had a needle sticking out of their body at one point?
It's so bitter.
Does the core 4 T-shirt have a needle on it?
That's hurtful, Bill. Come on. I will say it was interesting last night watching the Yankees game and the Rays. I think one of the problems the Yankees couldn't hit is because all the shine from the new jerseys and hats in the stands from all the newfound Ray fans. I always love when they have a full crowd of people like clanging cowbells and making all this noise in Tampa. A lot of new fans there.
It's ugly. It's really ugly. I mean, they had some big Red Sox games, and then like the next day, I think they had 12,000 or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's really bad. I mean, they all due respect, but they just probably shouldn't have a baseball team.
A lot of shiny jerseys there, let me tell you.
Do you think there should be a rule that if you finish a season 30 games over 500, but you can't draw I don't know what the minimum would be, but 80 times. So if you can't draw 1.5 4 million people or something, you lose your team or it has to move?
Absolutely, especially when I read recently where the Pittsburgh Pirates, who've been pathetic for 18 years, have like an amazing attendance record. They're going to draw over 2 million fans, and the team, I mean, they're 40 games out of first place. So if you have a fan base like that that goes to see a team that's awful, has no chance, and then you have the Rays, who are a good team, and people just go there when the Yankees or the Red Sox are in town, yeah, you should lose your team.
The only thing is, I don't know what city doesn't have a team that would really be good for.
Like we talk about, like, you know, moving one to Vegas, but in the summer when it's 180 degrees, that wouldn't be too much fun.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. I also don't think that's a good idea.
They mentioned Portland, Oregon, but I don't know. Portland just doesn't seem like a baseball town.
Yeah, but here, see, Portland would have been my first choice.
It's too laid back, though, and like a hipster crowd. Are they going to go sit at a baseball game?
Here's the thing, though.
Rainy, too. Need a retractable roof.
Seattle they have a team, and
That's
it does
true.
well. Like
That's true.
I don't really feel like the Portland thing versus the Seattle thing is going to be a lot different. And plus, you get which one's closer to Vancouver? I think it's Portland.
No, Seattle's closer to Vancouver.
Oh, Seattle's closer. Oh, screw 'em. Well, what's close to Portland?
Seattle.
Maybe
that would be a nice rivalry, though. I mean, that's true. I mean, I've driven actually from Portland to Seattle, and it only takes a couple hours, so that would be a nice little rivalry.
But I think if Portland got a team, it would have to be an NL team. It wouldn't make sense to have two AL teams 80 minutes apart.
Then you lose the rivalry thing, except in interleague.
Fine. I remember when I was in Portland last year for my book tour, we drove by the AAA stadium, and it was nice.
Yeah, they do have the Portland Beavers. They do have a AAA team.
Seems like they could build some sort of dome stadium.
Yeah,
maybe because they'd have to because of the
rain. But you'd want to have it open because it's so pretty there.
So you could open or close it. Now, here's where Nike should just step in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, fellas, this is ridiculous. We make $1 kajillion a year. Let's open the Nike Dome.
The Portland Nikes. There'd be so many Nike things on everything they owned.
Could you do that? Could you be the Portland Nikes?
Probably not. I think Selig would frown on that.
I think that's stupid.
And then every other corporation would just buy a team and slap their logo on it. So you'd have the Los Angeles iPods.
Fine. Why not? It's that. Do we not have enough corporate advertising stuff anyway?
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's 2010. That's where revenue's going. You have sponsors. At the very least, that's what the WNBA should have done.
Oh God, yeah.
And if I was an NBA team, I'm like the Memphis Grizzlies, and I have FedEx right there. I'd change the name to Memphis FedEx. I would. Why not?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
It's a good name too.
Right.
The FedEx are coming into town. You get like good headlines out of it and stuff. But I'm all for corporate sponsors. I was driving to Kennedy on Sunday morning, and I was thinking, all due respect to JFK, one of my favorite presidents, but shouldn't there be sponsors for airports? Like, at what point did people say, all right, I get that. They can make an extra $150 million a year or whatever from calling it the Best Buy Airport?
If you can do it for sports stadiums, and you can do it for airports, but we'd have to keep the John F. Kennedy Memorial Nike Airport or something.
The Best Buy JFK Airport.
There you go. All right.
I think if Kennedy was still around, he'd be like, "Hey, right, I understand."
Yeah, he'd be down with it. He'd be down for it. Yeah, why not? It's funny.
Quick Jersey Shore.
Yes.
So, I mean, we watched Douglas Tyson together.
Yeah, we did.
1990.
Yeah.
1991, whenever it was.
Yeah.
Do you think JWoww Sammy, did that compare for you to the Douglas Tyson experience and just being blown away?
I think it was on Twitter where you handicapped the fight beforehand, and you said basically don't go to sleep on Sammy Sweetheart because, I mean, looking at them and their willingness to fight, smart money would have been on JWoww, you would think. Like, all the money would have been on JWoww. She's big. She's like a big bruiser. She's not afraid to throw down. Sammy Sweetheart cries over everything in the world. It wouldn't seem to really be a scrapper, but I got to say, I think the judge's scorecard, she landed a few blows on JWoww.
I said not to sleep on Sammy because I felt, well, first of all, she played soccer in college, so we know she's a good athlete. And JWoww is just out of shape and drunk all the time. And
yeah, the cigarette smoking was a factor.
And then I thought she had a nice reach. That's what I thought. Maybe she would be able to sneak a right in. Who knew that she would throw almost like a Kermit Washington level right hand?
Yeah, she really caught her pretty good.
I mean, somebody emailed me. I was going to use it for a mailbag about how come NBA players can't figure out how to throw a punch, but Sammy Sweetheart, drunk in high heels, just after getting knocked down and having hair extensions pulled out, was somehow able to throw a perfect right.
Yeah, and kind of blindsided, really, and then still recovered. And much like basketball players, it was the old swing while you're being held back and the other person's being held back.
Right.
That was, that's what you have to master, because those fights will get broken up quickly, like that one did.
Well, it seemed like she really got her, because after the fight, JWoww just seemed like she was kind of semi-conscious.
Yeah, like she was walking back to her room and they were making fun of the way she laughed or something, and normally that would have provoked a response of her launching herself over the kitchen table.
Yeah.
But she just sort of like slunk away to go lick her wounds with Snooki. Yeah, well, it's troubling. When
the other when Ronnie and the other guy were yelling at each other,
yeah.
They cut to JWoww, she was just kind of standing there. It was like she was trying to regain her senses, like she needed ammonia capsules. I almost said pneumonia capsules.
They needed
ammonia
capsules. To step in, the fight
They
doctor.
did.
Check her eyes.
They needed to bring her back to her corner and have the doctor check her.
Get the Vaseline on her. Yeah, it was pretty intense there for a while.
It reminded me of Douglas Tyson though, because like Tyson, she was the big bully who everybody was terrified of, but nobody had actually just stood up to her and punched her. And then when she got punched, much like Tyson, she was on the floor, on the canvas, trying to grab her mouthpiece.
And the way the fight started, when I was watching it, I thought about it afterwards, and it really reminded me, and if I was in college, I think I would write a dissertation on comparing it to the start of World War I. Because everybody was so ginned up for a fight. Like JWoww and Sammy had all this tension building up, which I frankly don't quite understand what all the tension was building up about.
Yep.
But they had all this tension, and then it was this spark from a separate area of Vinny telling Paulie or something telling JWoww that Angelina had reported to her boyfriend or to somebody about how Paulie was throwing up or something.
Right.
So it was this whole side thing, and that was the spark plug, the spark that lit up this powder keg of another fight that blew out. It was like World War I, where everybody was all ginned up for a war because it had been a while, and they had all these armies and everything, and then Archduke Franz Ferdinand was killed, and that set off World War I. The analogies are really amazing. It works so well.
Maybe you should write the dissertation anyway.
I might have.
It could be a PhD type thing.
It really, it just was, because it came from nowhere. Like, what did Vinny dropping a dime on Angelina have to do with JWoww and Sammy, and yet somehow that's what caused the whole thing to explode?
Joe Mead.
Yes.
We just compared the JWoww-Sammy fight to Douglas Tyson, which is probably the biggest sports upset of all time, and World War I, how that started. Are we going a little too over the top or no? Or do you think we could go further?
You could go further, and I would advise it.
All right. So there's more analogies out there. Well, maybe we'll have people tweet. I thought I think what stunned me was JWoww in not just the moments after, but that even the next day, it was just like she had lost her mojo completely. Yeah,
she couldn't even go into work, and she was the one that was sort of running scared from Sammy and working at the gelato place.
Part of it made me feel there was some internet, Radar Online, not the most reputable source, but they had said that they had edited that fight pretty heavily, and maybe Ronnie had given her the business a little bit as he was separating them, and maybe there was a little fear.
Oh, really? Like
of the Ronnie Sammy combo, maybe she was like really super bummed out about it.
Yeah, that's possible, because he's always ready to explode.
Right.
I've felt a little worried for Vinny when he was pushing him and saying, "You started all this, bro." Like, I thought that was going to turn ugly.
Well, Vinny could have just pulled out his Johnson and beaten Ronnie to death with it.
Apparently. Yeah.
He's the Joe DiMaggio of Jersey Shore.
Unbelievable. Well, who saw that one coming?
Vinny. When people are doing this, the Sonny Corleone's wife at the beginning of the Godfather thing with their hands, like it's an 18-inch sub.
Yeah.
By the way, this podcast is sponsored by Subway, home of the long subs.
The $5 footlong and then some.
I think Vinny's been a breakout star this year.
Huge star.
Situation though, Jacoby and I were talking about this at was it Jacoby? Oh no, it was Joe House and I were talking about it on Sunday night. I hate to steal Joe House's thunder here, but we were saying that the move with Jersey Shore after the third season is to spin off the guys onto a show and the girls on a show.
Yes.
Break them up, break up that dynamic, but keep everybody, and then introduce like the 4 new people and opposite sexes that they have to kind of deal with and get along with. And
oh, that's a good idea.
Do the whole thing. I think that's the move. I think this could go for another 5 years. Name me a show that every week it's good.
See, the cast wouldn't go for that though because they have a cash cow right now. So why do they want to like split up the booty, so to speak, with new cast members?
Just do it for one season. Jersey Shore the guys and Jersey Shore the girls.
I think they like the comfort zone where they have it. I think it's working for them. Situations on Dancing with the Stars now, and they're getting paid ridiculous amounts of money supposedly. So
they deserve it.
It's a good thing.
When a show makes $6 million a year and there's you don't have to film anything other than just have cameras there. Like you don't have to pay writers.
There's no budget. Yeah.
You don't have to get locations. Like this show's a cash cow.
Yeah, it's true. I suppose there's enough money to go around for everybody.
Because we're winding down to the end. Who's your MVP for season 2?
I think you're right. I think it's Vinny. I think Vinny, he kind of had a breakout because he didn't really have a personality in the other one.
Yeah.
Except that he was the guy that lived at home and had 8 million family members in Staten Island.
And loves his mother.
And she came with 75,000 pounds of pasta. But this year he's hooking up with women, and we learned about his endowment, as it were, and he's instigating the biggest fight ever in Jersey Shore history.
A fight that you compared to the start of World War I successfully.
His actions were like the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Serbia. Exactly.
Who was there one person who assassinated Archduke Ferdinand? Was there a John Wilkes Booth?
There was a John Wilkes Booth, but oh god, I can't remember his name. Partly because I think it was like an unpronounceable Serbian name.
Oh well, he was that guy.
He was that guy. Yes. So I should know that now that you're going to get 8,000, well not 8,000, but you'll get 5 emails from people saying I'm an idiot for not knowing it. But
and also he hooked up with Snooki, and then
he did, and Angelina.
What's weird is that nobody hooks up with JWoww.
No.
Or goes after her. It's like
Pauly did the first year. Pauly D.
I wouldn't be shocked if she was a man. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, obviously it would be a shock, but I'm not ruling it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't really be like flabbergasted by it. No, you're right.
That reminds me, like every week I learn something in the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Like when they spotted that woman that the situation was talking to that I thought might be a trainee.
Yes.
And it was either Pauly or Vinny was pointing out how they had the choker to cover their Adam's apple and then the gloves to cover their hands. I was like, wow, that's some good info.
It really is.
I mean, I'm married now. It doesn't matter, but I wish I had that info in my mid-20s.
But then you and I never would have met.
That's true.
When you think the cast of Jersey Shore are idiots, but they really have some insight into things. The shirt before the shirt, we learned about that this year.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Seinfeld, don't wear your pants so you keep the crease in them. But
and I thought
shirt, that's good.
I thought Ronnie has just put on a clinic on how to cheat on your girlfriend and then make her feel like she was responsible.
Well, that poor Sammy Sweetheart. I mean, she's going to watch this show and just wonder what the hell she was thinking about, like how she fell for any of this, and how he escaped with the whole note thing.
It's unbelievable. He turned it into nobody remembered what the conduct was, but just that the note, and they shouldn't have done that, and then he's like, "This brought us closer together," and I only did it because you did it, and she's like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "Yes, you did," and she's like, "I guess I did. I don't. If you say I did, I did." It's like a lot of Jedi mind tricks by him. I'm starting to think he's an evil genius.
Part of it is probably because the note was written by JWoww and Snooki, so it was probably completely incoherent.
Right.
That might have been a factor too.
Well,
I don't think it was like the Gettysburg Address, put it that way.
My one flaw with this season is the note thing was so stupid.
Yeah.
when you really like look at it, you take a step back and go, okay. The note thing was obviously the producers told them to do that.
It had to be, because they
And
never
said,
would have thought of that on their own.
Do the note and then don't tell them. I just don't think anybody, even in college, you wouldn't do that.
No.
Nobody would do that. They would just, you'd get drunk one night and you'd tell the person, hey, all this stuff's going on. Don't say it.
Your man is playing you, or whatever they would say to each other, yeah.
The note seemed like a note from the reality producers.
Yeah.
And then they had to stick with it. But what I didn't really understand is, I think Snooki, it's always funny to say Snooki made a good point. Snooki made
that sentence has never been said before in human
Yeah,
time.
and probably never will again. Snooki made a good point, though. What were they supposed to do? Because
Right.
if they didn't tell her, she would have hated her at the end of the show. And if they did tell her, because Ronnie is the next Mussolini, he was going to turn it against him anyway.
Yeah.
They had no outs.
They're in a situation, exactly. They're damned if they do and damned if they don't, because they're in a situation where they're friends with everybody.
Yeah.
So if you don't have your girlfriend's back and tell her that her man is cheating on her, she's going to hate you. But then if you sell out Ronnie, and when they were on a break, a la Friends, and he's like, we were on a break and you're dropping a dime on me, like it's none of your business. So you really can't win there.
But
I guess girls have to stick together with girls, though. They should have just come clean to her. That's the play.
Have to. The flaw in Ronnie's logic was this. Whether they were on a break or not, he still hooked up with girls at a bar and then climbed into her bed and hooked up with Sammy. Like, break or no break.
Yeah, right. And, yeah, exactly. And somehow he came out smelling like a rose.
He's a genius, I'm telling
He
you.
really is.
He might start World War III.
He should write a book.
The thing I learned in last week's show, something I never ever thought of saying or using in my everyday terminology, now I want to use it exclusively. When they met that girl with the herpes at the beach.
Yes.
And Paulie called it a herpy.
A herpy, yes.
Said she had a herpy on her lip.
Yes.
I'd always called those cold sores. Those days are gone. They are now herpy. I'm not calling them a herpy.
She's got a herpy, yes.
I love it. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
really good.
That's all I got for you, Johnny.
It's really good.
Anything else?
Did you watch any VMAs?
I did, and I heard Chelsea Handler was very good.
I don't understand her. I don't understand how she's a celebrity.
Well, she's very good looking.
She won a contest or something? I mean, I've never found her even remotely funny, not a little bit.
She's good on her show because she's smart. She puts herself with 3 other people, and she just does a lot of reactions off what they say, and she's very good at deadpanning reactions, and she has an occasional funny line here or there. She's a good marketer.
I've seen bits and pieces, because I didn't understand why she had the #1 book in America for a while.
Yeah.
Or was up there in the New York Times bestseller list, and then I remember trying to watch some of her show, and I was just like, God, I just don't get it. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Women like her.
Is it me or is it her?
No, women like her.
No,
my wife likes her. If she's on, my wife always gets a kick out of her.
I'm surprised by that. I don't know. I just don't see it.
And guys will watch because she's hot enough that they can be like,
yeah, moderately attractive. Yeah,
I'd step in there. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a train wreck on that a little bit of that show that I watched, though. But the whole show was just a train wreck. Justin Bieber, not a good lip syncer.
Oh, he lip synced?
Oh, blatantly. They needed to have a camera like about half a block away to make it look remotely plausible.
I think it's funny that they still have Video Music Awards, and yet nobody watches music videos.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I said it's like Hollywood having the Silent Film of the Year award. There used to be silent films, too, and there used to be music videos. But neither one of them run anymore.
Yeah, it's true. How about Mad Men?
Oh, my God. Ham is such a good actor. It's scary. That suitcase, this week was okay, but last week was just fantastic. I couldn't even think of a word. It was so good. The suitcase one?
I think that was, I said best episode since the season finale, season 1, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He's such a freaking good actor. Scary.
And I got to say, the girl was great, too.
Yeah, Peggy. Elizabeth Moss. She was good, too. That was just a great, great episode.
Scientologist Elizabeth Moss.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
That came between her and Fred Armisen.
Oh, I didn't know they split up.
Yeah, they're in their brief marriage. She's dating Abby Elliott now.
Oh, jeez, you don't keep up with these things. I didn't realize that.
It was one of the less publicized love triangles in a while.
Whoa, the Scientology came between them.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I thought something else might have come between them.
That was Scientology.
Whoa, that's interesting. Too bad for those kids. Thought they were going to make it.
It's great, but
Maybe she can get together with Tom Cruise or Travolta.
Now,
Alley.
Explain to me why I have this terrible feeling that Boardwalk, what is that?
Empire.
And Boardwalk Empire. Just feel like it's not going to be good, and it's going to be just a ton of money spent on a show that won't be very good.
I'm excited. I've been trying to talk my wife into it that it could be the new Deadwood for us. Because when Deadwood died, a part of me died too.
But now Boardwalk Empire
could be the one. Yeah, I was excited for it. Steve Buscemi is the star of it, which is interesting.
That's a red flag to me.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice, but I'm excited for it. I like the 20s and Prohibition and gangsters. That looks like it could be good. I like the previews for it.
Name me 3 things that Steve Buscemi has done in the last 15 years that you liked. Sopranos 1. Give me 2 more.
That eliminates Fargo, right?
I'll let you include it. Give me 1 more.
Well, I'm one of 3 people on the planet that loves the movie Miller's Crossing, but he was only in that for like a heartbeat, so I don't know if that counts.
I don't know if he can carry a show.
Huh?
I don't know if he can carry a show.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's the lead guy, right? Is there anybody else of note that's in it?
There's a bunch of those guys in it.
Yeah, people I'll recognize but wouldn't know their name.
You'll know 4 or 5, and they'll be like, oh, that guy. Hey, that guy. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong.
I'm excited for HBO coming up now because I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for the return of Eastbound and Down.
Yes.
And Curb Your Enthusiasm's coming back on again soon, isn't it?
Yeah, Eastbound and Down. I mean, I think that's the big one. And I also trying to talk myself into The Event.
Oh, The Event? That's an HBO show?
NBC.
Oh, NBC, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not into like the sci-fi, like Lost or any of those. It seems like it's a Lost ripoff.
They're positioning it as if you like Lost and 24 and you're going to miss those shows, then come watch our show, which is a nice way to market it. But it'll be interesting if they can hold up. The other one that I can't believe I'm saying this, but has gotten really good reviews and buzz is Hawaii Five-0.
With James Caan's son.
They said Scott Caan's stealing scenes. He steals scenes left and right.
I kind of like Scott Caan.
I kind of do too.
I liked him in those Oceans 13 and 11 and 12 or whatever movies. I thought he's all right.
I think he's been good at Entourage.
I never watched Entourage, but I'll take your word for it.
And granted, if you're blowing Kevin Connolly off the screen, you're not really doing much. But, you're Adrian Grenier, you're laying waste to. You can't really call you the next De Niro, but I think he's been really good. And I liked him in Varsity Blues. I've liked him in everything he's been in. I'm ready for Scott Caan as Dano.
That's right. He was good in Varsity. I forgot about Varsity Blues. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
He's had some good moments. Scott Caan, come back.
There you go. All right, I'll tune into Hawaii Five-0.
This is going to be the year of David Caan and Scott Caan.
Are they going to say book 'em Dano?
God.
Yeah,
it'll be good. I'm excited. I like Hawaii. I like shows set in Hawaii. We don't use Hawaii enough.
It's a classic. Is Jack Lord still with us, or he's no longer with us? The original Hawaii Five-0 guy?
He's long gone, Johnny.
Is he really? Because I wonder how he would feel about it, but I guess we don't have to worry about that anymore.
The other show that sounds interesting is Cougar Town, because they kind of reinvented it. And now it's like an ensemble show about people in their late 30s, early 40s. Kind of whatever.
Shows.
I'm just saying, seems interesting. I like Courtney Cox.
Well, that's intriguing.
But I never watch network TV. Everybody liked that Modern Family show, and I never end up seeing it.
Yeah, they're not going to get me with that one.
It's too hard when shows like Mad Men can push the envelope on cable, and then you watch and Curb Your Enthusiasm and Eastbound and Down, and then you watch a network show, and it just doesn't feel the same.
Once I've been exposed to swearing in shows, I can't go back.
And breasts. Don't forget breasts.
That too.
On that note, Johnny, I wish you the worst of luck.
Thank you.
You didn't get my hopes up. Nice try.
Sorry.
Although I will probably flick over to the Red Sox-Seattle game tonight.
I'm telling you.
To see, just kind of monitor a little bit.
The Yankee fans out there, let's just be a little wary. Let's be careful. Be careful out there.
All right, Johnny.
All right, buddy.
Good luck on your dissertation.
Thanks very much.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you. Bye.
Last thing, Joe Mead, you have something for us.
I do. We should mention for the BS Report show page, no longer do you have to have some kind of crazy link. You have to remember we have some vanity URLs, I guess you'd call it.
Let's hear them.
You can go to espn.com/BS Report, and you get right there.
Wow. Thanks, ESPN.com.
How about that?
Very nice of you. So ESPN.com/BS Report.
/BS Report. How
beautiful.
How easy could it be?
Thanks, Joe Mead.
And speaking of unpronounceable Serbian names, the tennis player is Novak Djokovic.
Novak Djokovic.
Yeah.
I went on Thursday night, Joe Mead.
You did? I went on Saturday to see all the semifinals.
I was very impressed by the whole, whatever you call it, center.
The National Tennis Center, something like that. Arthur Ashe Stadium.
My big idea is this. I think they should have outdoor basketball games there. I think they'd be unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. You could get like 20,000 people in that stadium or something like that.
They should have, in the beginning of October, they should have like 3 exhibition games in there.
That'd be fun.
In fact, I'd go a step further and have the entire D-League there. Make it outdoors.
What about doing, before the U.S. Open, could they do some like summer league there?
Something. It just, and then also when I was there, I was going to write about this and still might, but it just seems like that, I like the way that stadium felt for basketball more than the basketball arenas that they built for basketball. Because it's much more steep, and it's intimate, and it hugs the court, and I thought it was cool. I like the vibe.
Yeah. What I like about it seems like no matter where you sit, like you only have to climb over like 1 or 2 people to get to the aisle.
Yeah.
How about that?
I mean, I couldn't believe that it was 24,000 people. And the suites, I thought those work well. I don't know. I was impressed. I thought it was a cool place. The only problem is that the tennis was the one drawback.
Well, I saw Djokovic upset Federer, and that was a great match.
That really was a great match, and Federer had it.
Yeah, 2 match points. And
everybody wanted the Federer. It was funny. The 2 things they wanted were Federer, Nadal, and Wozniak to make the finals. Neither happened. God forbid Wozniak made the finals.
Yeah.
That probably cut the rating in half. But decent. It was a little sad to see the U.S. Open end up jettison to ESPN2 for the final match.
Yeah, and then even luckily it ended before it was going to get bumped to Classic. But even so, it was like Nadal was holding up the trophy right when they cut to the pregame of the football game.
Yeah. It was a sad way to go out. They got to figure that out for next year. All right, back in the BS Report in a couple days. Until then.
Target percent off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at PodCenter at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
This concludes another installment of the BS Report. And with all the talk about sports, Bill Simmons neglected to mention this very important final thought. Eat bold with Subway fiery footlong subs. So hot they'll burn the wimp right out of you. Like the intensely delicious new turkey jalapeno melt. A fiery twist on a legendary flavor with bubbly Monterey cheddar and spicy chipotle Southwest sauce. And the backed by popular demand buffalo chicken fiery footlong sub with fire grilled chicken smothered in smoking red hot sauce. Subway fiery footlong subs. They're boldest yet. Subway. Eat fresh.